Why would you want to hang out in a toilet? Of all the places to hang out, I can think of better places.
It's probably cleaner than what happened.
Oh, no, so that's
Our robots.
You could go back Lawrence making she's a liar. No, she
Okay.
Lawrence Nightingale's a whole lot.
Right, okay, so it is being recorded now, so your madness and insanity will be getting recorded for Nicole, which I'm sure she'll be delighted to hear.
Just reading for inference.
Yes, we're on the reading for inference.
Sound of thunder.
Yeah.
And Allosaurus.
The sound of silence.
Sound of
Bizarre.
Oh, that's good coming from you, George.
Yeah, so I'm not saying that yourself, but just let them know. That's just
What?
early development.
No, that's not right. That's just not.
Right. You know, that's...
I'm listening.
Good. Ray Bradbury.
Yeah, I have to say, if you haven't read much Ray Bradbury before, you should do. He's ace. He's one of the best science fiction writers ever. Now you turned up. Where you been?
Ellie was right.
Maybe that's shocking. Right, yeah, so we're on that reading for inference lesson, if you please. Sound of thunder. Now, I know that one person in this room already does know. Before I go to that one person, this was a carefully conducted survey in today's lunch queue.
Oh, it's me.
Yeah, it is. Nathan, just might pop your bag on the floor. Just, nobody's going to run off with it. As a question, without cheating and going on to Dr. Google, anybody know what the butterfly effect is? No, I know that you know. I'm going to come to you. I want to see about other people maybe. Nathan. Would you agree with that, Leon?
To a degree.
Oh, only to a degree. I think that's quite a good definition. So we've got you accidentally researched it on Dr. Google, did you?
Well, I searched up and then he said, don't search that.
Well, I think I said that before I even asked the question.
How could you search it up in 2 seconds?
Because Matthew has the speed and the brain power of a computer.
You can't say anything, George.
So, you know that the human brain is actually faster than 100 supercomputers.
There you go. See, that's why Matthew's so good.
But that would mean that he's slower than himself.
He's slower than normal.
Anyway, since the cat's out the bag then, Matthew, what's the definition of the butterfly effect, please?
It's when small things have a non-linear impact on a complex system.
So small things.
Who wouldn't know?
Yeah, exactly why you're not carrying it around in your brain. So a non-linear impact on
A complex system.
And could you give me an example, please, Matthew, of a complex system?
Google.
No, I don't think it is complex actually, because that just runs on algorithms, I do believe, which is basically asking a lot of yes/no questions. Isaac. The universe is a complex system. That is a very complex system. Leon, can you think of any other complex systems a bit closer to
Humanity.
humanity? What's humanity?
Humanity.
You got all essays on humanity.
Humanity.
Yeah, the human existence is very, very complex. Why is it complex, Leon?
Because
it is.
it is.
Just because it is.
because there's lots of things going on up inside my noggin.
Yeah, and there are lots of possibilities with the human race, aren't there? George, your hand raised, or you just doing that?
Society.
Your society is pretty complex. Matthew,
Human evolution.
isn't that what he just said, though, about human society and whatnot?
He said humanity.
Oh, you said, sorry, human humanity. Doesn't humanity really kind of cover all of that? Yeah. Now, a simple way to think about this is, for example, time travel. Yeah, it's a bit of a way to think about it. But I mean, if you went back in history, like let's say, we all think, oh, these terrible people, wish they'd never been allowed to sort of have power, your Hitlers and Stalins, all these great big dictatorships. So wouldn't it be great to go back and even history and just extract them out of history, right? They never have it. They don't have the life that they should have. They're not allowed to get power, all that sort of thing. Then human life would have been so much better if that Joseph Stalin had just never seen past his 5th birthday. Same for Adolf Hitler. If he only sort of lived for, let's say, 10 years and then died, the world would have been a better place. What, according to the butterfly effect, is the problem with that theory? Okay.
That it will correct itself and that will happen.
So you're in the Doctor Who line, aren't you? There's certain fixed points in a time continuum that must not be played about.
It's like if you throw a rock into like a river, it'll always try and flow in the same direction.
Right, so you get that ripple effect. Got you, Isaac.
It could get the fish can get worse.
It could, because we don't know what the outcome of doing that. If we take Hitler out of the equation or Stalin out of the equation, we don't know what we're going to get in its place. It could be something 10 times worse. That's your butterfly effect. Would you agree, Leon?
Yeah, but there's lots and lots of like paradoxes to it.
Yeah, I mean, again, if you think about it, it's almost like, are you familiar with the film Sliding Doors? Sliding Doors basically it's based on the premise that there's this couple and they're going for the same underground train. And one of the sort of parallel universes that William's saying, the door closes before the man can catch up with the woman to sort of, ask her out and all that sort of stuff. So they go through one type of life. And again, the film kind of reruns again, and this time he manages to catch up with her. It's a different life. Again, it ends up in a pretty messy life, and it's unseen for circumstances. It's that whole idea, if you go through one set of doors, it leads to one potential life, go through another, it leads to different ones. So it's all those kind of ideas about, again, obviously multiple universities, different things can be on in different universities. Leon?
I'm not sure if it links in fully or if you've heard of it, but Black Mirror. It's, I think it was a book maybe, but there's a show on Netflix. You could like choose what things you wanted to do. And
Yes.
Different storylines.
That's right, it's a story. I forget how that one ended, but I remember that one, yeah. And it was that they were picking certain ways for it to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forget how it ended up again, but that's exactly it, yeah. Spot on. Isaac?
I'm not sure if they do one of that flashing paradox in like DC.
Yeah.
When Flash go back in time.
Yeah. Isn't it? And again, isn't it that one wasn't the end game, wasn't it? The whole thing where it looks like Thanos is one, but then they do some weird retiming so that Doctor Strange, although he's actually meant to be dead, him and all the other guys that were obliterated with a click of the fingers suddenly can come back. It's playing about with things like that. This is what we're going to be looking at in this story. Now, what we're going to be doing first of all is we're going to read the story in its entirety over the next few lessons, and then we're going to look at an exam paper from AQA which used an extract from this. I thought it'd be really useful for you to have the whole context of the story before we look on to go down the classic kind of comprehension questions for that. So this one is called A Sound of Thunder, a really famous story by Ray Bradbury, and again it's got lots of messages which I think are really relevant to today. I mean, that's one of the things about science fiction writer as we can discuss as we go along. So, as you'll see, it has some very nice, handily placed questions, all to do with inference as we're reading through this text. It's a lot of little prompts. We'll come back to this. We're just going to look at the first two sort of pages here of this bit, and then I'm going to get you to sort of do a little bit of work on it for me, please. As you will see, there's a very nice picture of a very angry Tyrannosaurus Rex. Yeah, And we will be coming up against our good friend T-Rex a little bit later in this story, as you will see.
Haven't we already read this?
I'm not. I was trying to remember if we had done or not. Some of you might have done, because it's a story that I love. It's one of my go-to stories quite often, because I just think it's such a brilliant story, really well crafted. So hopefully it might come back to some of you. Obviously, some people have joined us since year 9, so it'll be new to them. But yeah, I was wondering that myself when I was doing this. The sign on the wall seemed to quaver under a film of sliding warm water. Eccles felt his eyelids blink over his stare, and the sign burned in this momentary darkness. Time Safari Inc. Safaris to any year in the past. You name the animal, we take you there, you shoot it. A warm phlegm gathered in Eccles' throat. He swallowed and pushed it down. The muscles around his mouth formed a smile as he put his hand slowly out upon the air, and in that hand waved a check for $10,000 to the man behind the desk. Does this safari guarantee I come back alive? We guarantee nothing, said the official, except the dinosaurs. He turned. This is Mr. Travis, your safari guide in the past. He'll tell you what and where to shoot. If he says no shooting, no shooting. If you disobey instructions, there's a stiff penalty of another $10,000 plus possible government action on your return. Eccles glanced across the vast office at a mass and tangle, a snaking and humming of wires and steel boxes, at an aurora that flickered now orange, now silver, now blue. There was a sound like a gigantic bonfire burning all of time, all the years and all the parchment calendars, all the hours piled high and set aflame. A touch of the hand in this burning wood on the instant beautifully reversed itself. Eccles remembered the wording in the advertisements to the letter. Out of chars and ashes, out of dust and coals, like golden salamanders, the old years, the green years might leap. Roses sweeten the air, white hair turn Irish black, wrinkles vanish, everything fly back to seed, flee death, rush down to their beginnings. Sunrise in western skies and set in glorious easts. Moons eat themselves opposite to the custom, all and everything cupping one and another like Chinese boxes. Rabbits into hats, all and everything returning to fresh death, to the seed death, the green death, to the time before beginning. A touch of a hand might do it, the merest touch of a hand. Ooh. Kimmy, are you still on the lesson? It seems you are with Tom for some reason. Unbelievable, Eccles breathed, the light of the machine on his thin face. A real time machine. He shook his head. Makes you think. If the election had gone badly yesterday, I might be here now running away from the results. Thank God Keith won. He'll make a fine president of the United States. Yes, said the man behind the desk. We're lucky. If Deutsche had got in, we'd have had the worst kind of dictatorship. There's an anti-everything man for you. A militarist, antichrist, anti-human, anti-intellectual. People called us up. You know, joking but not joking, said if Deutsche became president, they wanted to go and live in 1492. Of course, it's not our business to conduct escapes, but to form safaris. Anyway, Keith's president now. All you got to worry about is, and then we pause. Now, what I want you to do on your own is go back and look at these little questions that have been asked each down the side of the margins there. It says, pause after you read the sign, lines 4 to 5. So obviously that's there. Underline the information that seems unusual. And based on that information, what do you think? When do you think the story is going to be taking place? Again, pause at line 16. Line 16, that's 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That's 16 here. Okay. Why do you think there is such a stiff penalty for disobeying instructions? Have an educated guess. Next, reread line 17 to 35. Go away. And underline examples of figurative language. So that is simile, metaphor, personification. Now you know all these things. How do we recognize simile? Like or as. Yeah. Personification. Yeah. So I give a non-human human characteristics, that sort of thing. Metaphor is that extended image, isn't it? Okay, and then pause at line 43. Who were the two candidates for the President of the United States? Circle a name. Which one won? Okay, and whoops, come back. Now, the last one there is anti is a prefix meaning against things. Okay, so according to the description of Deutsch in lines 43, 44, what is he against? All fairly straightforward detail there. It is now, let me see, it is now 15:26. If I give you, because you won't really need to reread too much of this because we've just done it. If I give you until 25 to, yeah, just to sort of jot down your ideas, and you should be able to write on the text, I do believe. Whoops, this comes across. You could just write in there, yeah, whoops. Yeah, you can, can't you?
So why is it 75 hours?
Me?
I don't know. I don't know. It's also been going for some time, isn't it? It's been recording. That's some lesson.
You know when the criminals we had like in December.
Yeah. Boom. Anyway, so yeah, so you can write on the text there. So yeah, off you go. And yeah, that should be good to upload that one. 75-hour lesson. Right. Okay. 10 minutes to respond to those little prompts down the margins. Thank you very much. Yeah. Well, they've got noisy there, haven't they?
It's real good.
It's real, eh? Yeah. I think he did.
How dare he? We should give him 14 emails. Year sevens, what were year sevens trying to fight this other one? It was like, oh, you pussy ass bitch.
George, this is recording.
I chatted to him, so I was like,
No, George, you've got a task to do. Thank you very much.
We're gonna have to chat to him now.
yeah.
It doesn't sound like I sound from them.
Oh, there is a real reason why it's called this by the end.
You see, you get thunder cracks when the evil person comes in.
Shh. Oh, what has happened to your glasses?
I lost them like months
How? But I mean,
like last year.
don't you need them?
Sometimes he's very into that.
What do you mean sometimes? Do your parents know? Have you kept this hidden from them?
No, he knows. They know. They do know, sir.
No, I just wonder because I could see you the monthly read thing, and I thought, oh wait a minute, you used to be having glasses.
Oh yeah, I did. Oh,
What the pink lenses?
I have many different colours.
Great slogan, that, isn't it? You name the animal, we take you there, you shoot it.
That's a wordy slogan, so
That says a lot about the society, doesn't it?
it's still a wordy slogan.
Definitely not current then.
Does it have to be a dinosaur?
Sorry?
Does it have to be a dinosaur?
It has a meaning.
Well, this one, that's what they're setting up, isn't it? They're setting that you can go back.
But you could like bring a pet home. Like just nick a dinosaur and just bring it home.
Butterfly effect. Think of the butterfly effect.
I mean, they're not gonna do anything. Bring it by meteor.
Are you finished, Christian?
No, sir.
Well, then stop prating about.
Yeah, comrades.
You done, George?
Done.
I've done some of it, so.
That's some of it, right? Okay.
I've done 3 questions.
Okay. Okay.
I'm trying to figure out the anti one or what the bottom one.
Oh, the anti. Oh, that's one of the more straightforward ones, I think. If you anti means you're against things, just look what he's
He's
against.
anti-human, anti-intellectual. So he's against humans and against.
Well, Leon, okay.
What's intellectual mean?
So,
I'll ask one of our resident, clowns here if they can help.
communication.
So please, you can ask me.
So George is asking, what does intellectual mean?
Are you kidding?
It's like,
No, exactly. He's asking a genuine question. So rather than ratting about,
that's a bit harsh. George is a very clever young
It means
child.
not,
A very
not smart.
intellectual.
If you're intellectual, you're smart.
so yeah, intellectual means that you're clever, that you're smart. That sort of idea.
So he doesn't want humans and he doesn't want smart people.
Yeah. Yeah. Why would you want people like that?
So that you can tell you how to control your life. You can make like scores of like 43.
Right. Let's begin to as the clock ticks round to almost the 76th hour. Let's begin to sort of, because you're a bit noisy here. So that first question, it says, what sort of when do you think this story is taking place, Kimmy? Just going by the the whole.
Oh, does it mean like what time?
What?
When?
It says when.
Kimmy, it asks you a straightforward question. When do you think the story is taking place?
It's in the future. Definitely.
Yeah, so we've got the future, haven't we?
Oh, you're supposed to put a specific date.
Something like.
Oh my
Something
God.
like.
Just put a year.
What did you put down then? Hang on, just put down.
2089.
Oh, that's in the future.
That's in the future, that's all right.
2077.
Yeah, sorry, Kimmy, you were saying?
Like when.
Shh.
When like time machines are not like first invented.
Yeah, and it's got to be, isn't it? It's got to.
When people are rich, like very rich.
Yeah, isn't it? And it's one of these things that people keep thinking about, that having the ability to time travel, to go back into the future or forward, that sort of idea. It's one of these great sort of, big science fiction type of sort of holy grails, that sort of idea. Yeah.
When people are very rich.
Yeah.
You don't just hand over £10,000 to go and shoot something.
Some people do,
Depends what it is.
because certain big game is illegal to hunt now, and the only way you're going to be able to hunt it is if you pay a lot of money.
Still illegal.
Still illegal, but the people are willing to pay it, aren't they?
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like, it's the same as, isn't it, the people who sort of pay a stonking amount of money at the moment to have their bodies sort of cryogenically frozen in the hope that one day that something's going to happen that allows them to come back to life. Hello.
Is Kiva here?
Kiva is here, yes, just at the back.
Very good.
Yeah, of course you can. Okay, so we've got this, it's this future setting, okay? So, Leon, why do you think there is such a stiff penalty for disobeying instructions? So if you disobey, you're going to be hit with a £10,000 fine and possibly further action.
Because one small change in the past could have a very, very
Right.
profound effect in the future.
And so it's telling us here, isn't it, that disobeying instructions here, you know, it's going to have some monumental effect. For that sort of thing, these have got to be pretty important instructions. Yeah?
But £10,000 is a huge, or dollars, whatever it was.
Mm.
Inflation. No, inflation. So if you can- No,
Inflation.
inflation.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to do the last time.
Okay, fair enough, thank you. Oops. Right, okay, so moving on, Christian, yes. Could you give an example of a simile, a metaphor, personification?
Gigantic bonfire.
Like a gigantic bonfire. Yeah, that'll do for me. Yeah, even of all time. Now, what one is that? Is that simile, personification, or metaphor?
Simile.
And also,
Personification.
no.
Metaphor.
Yeah, because you can't.
What person do you know is a gigantic bonfire?
Yeah, how can you do that? How can you burn time? It's an image, isn't it? It's a metaphor. So yeah, that's a metaphor there. Lottie, could you give us an example, please, of figurative language being used here?
Like golden
Like,
salad.
ah, yes. Where's that going to? Ah, yeah, there we are. Like golden salamanders. Yep, really good. And that, what technique's that? Yeah, we've got the simile there. Very good. Thank you very much. Tom, let me give us another example of figurative language.
Like Chinese boxes.
Say that one again, sorry.
Like Chinese boxes.
Ah, the Chinese shiny boxes, yes. Yep, another simile there. Like Chinese boxes. Christian, do you think there's another?
Yes. I don't have any more.
Don't you? Okay, Leon.
Makes sense.
Take your time.
Okay, when's the coming in Australia?
Stuffing up the Christmas tree.
So one been said.
Hmm?
One been said.
Oh, yes. Oh.
So I've got one.
Okay, George.
Moons eat themselves.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about as well.
Yeah, how does a moon?
Well, that's because it's been what?
Personification.
Personified. Isn't it?
Oh, I've got
How is
some metaphor.
Yeah. So again, why use so much kind of figurative language here? What's he creating?
Atmosphere.
Well, yeah, okay, right. So we're getting a sense of atmosphere. What else?
Story.
Hello. Ah, do come in, miss. Yeah. Hello. Yeah, of course you can. Yeah. Hello. Hello. Pleased to meet you. Yeah. This is my very fine year 10. Yeah. We are looking at oops, if it will come across. So what we're looking at is a short story by Ray Bradbury, Sound of Thunder. And what we're doing, this we're reading for, as it says, they're reading for influence because it's used in exam text. So before we go as a short extract, I'm giving knowledge of the whole short story as it is. We're looking at annotating as we go along. So as you can see, we've been sort of doing the notes down the side there, and then we can annotate the text as we go through it. And it means also a returning student who's just in this little box here. That's Nicole, who's still sort of quarantining as she went. So she's part of the lesson too. She's going to follow that, even though she's remotely in the boarding house. It's all been sort of recorded and we can go back to as well.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, very well.
Yeah. Have a nice English lesson, everybody.
Yeah, that's so quiet and productive.
Anyone else? Please don't ask me.
Well done, yeah. Nobody spoke, well done. Yeah. Right. Yeah, you're just hiding behind the door, aren't you? Can we strategically place there? Right, so the two candidates for President of the United States there. What were their names? Deutsche was one, and who's the other one? Keith. Okay, you did that a minute ago. You weren't so bold, were you? Now, funnily enough, obviously, we don't know about President Keith, only that people are really pleased that he's won so far. And we learn about Deutsche, who is, he's a militarist, he's antichrist, anti-human, anti-intellectual. So he's pretty anti-things. Does this remind you of any recent presidential contest? Couldn't you just, because, it's like it's a Mr. Nice Guy and a Mr. Nasty, yeah? Now, as outlandish as this may seem, right, so if you're anti-intellectual, what are you, George? What are you against?
You're against clever people.
You are against clever people. Now, to have an intellect you don't have to just be, a professor, that sort of thing. If you're anti-intellectual, what does that really say that you are against?
Common sense.
Common sense, the most uncommon sense.
It's like how, I can't remember which year, like the witch trials was.
Salem witch trials.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, very good.
I don't know what year it was, but they were all very anti-intellectual because women apparently knew stuff. It was common sense.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. Now, as you say there, it's that anti-common sense. You feel threatened by it. Why would people feel threatened by people with common sense? What might they do?
They might like to tear down what people.
They might
Tear down what people work for.
They might tear down what
The
people.
White House.
Because then they don't like all of the laws behind everything. So that
Yeah, so I mean, the problem that people who are anti them got with it is they will ask questions, isn't it?
So that's like, why are you doing this?
Yeah, why they're going to ask these sorts of questions. Yeah, it's that idea of they won't just accept. Now, you may think this is I think actually you can see now that this is more kind of real than it is. I mean, Ray Bradbury, I think this was originally written sort of either late 1950s or early 1960s. He's writing this as a short story. Now it's all too true, but I mean, the one that I used to go to for this in Cambodia, when the Khmer Rouge seized power, and they were basically sort of a military force. They were, in theory, communist in belief, but it went way beyond that. And when they took over, they decided that they were going to take Cambodia back to the year 0. They were starting all over again. So they said the calendars that existed beforehand, everything was wiped out. We are starting at the year 0 to signify a new beginning. And the guy that was the head of the Khmer Rouge was a very brutal leader called Pol Pot. That was his name.
Where was this?
Oh, this is going to late 70s, early 80s. Pol Pot.
I know about, because I remember watching like a TV program and they mentioned it.
Yeah, there's a famous film, gets made called The Killing Fields, which is all about this. Yeah.
Didn't he like just like kill all of his like people that weren't, I don't know, people that were smart or like.
He did this. He thought that anybody who had a university education, anybody who was educated, as far as he was concerned, was dangerous and a threat, and they get killed. Do you know how he identified who was intellectual? Glasses. If people wore glasses, they were put up against the wall and shot. Yeah, that'd be gone, long gone.
What about if you like had to wear glasses to like read?
That didn't matter. As far as he was concerned, one of the key indicators of somebody who was smart, somebody who was clever, would be the fact that they wore glasses. And I guess maybe in his sort of bizarre mind would have been the case that you need glasses to read because you've read a lot, and so your eyes will get tired and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, that's what he did, and it's become a very sort of creepy sort of tourist stop when you go to Cambodia. Now you go to see, because all these bodies were just kept in huge mass graves, and they've all just been sort of put up now, and you can go and visit it. It's a bit like if you go to Belsen now, you see all the sort of the clothing and the shoes from those who were killed in the death camps, and they're all just sort of in these massive containers. You can see how many people died. Again, it's the same in the killing fields. In these sort of just huge cases, it's just parts of skeletons are in there, bones and skulls and whatnot. So it's not as bad as you think. And then if you come up to modern day now, you think about the amount of very strange ideas that are going around the world right now that certain leaders will subscribe to, and ex-leaders did subscribe to as well. There are some leaders out there who say, what do you call it? The environment, isn't in danger. Global warming isn't a thing; it's a myth. It's been made up as a conspiracy, made up by whoever. And then you've got the kind of the vaccine ideas. If you take that, you're going to turn into part vampire, or you're going to become a crocodile. Two of the ones that are the more bizarre. But you can see that where people kind of feel threatened, and again, it normally does get linked to power. They want to try and keep hold of it. Isaac.
Wasn't Chuck a base of a real person?
Sorry?
Wasn't Chuck a base of a real person?
Yeah, Vlad the Impaler. Yeah, he did do some rather gruesome things. If you are anti-human, what does that say that you are? Did you say alien? You're a small green individual from space.
So that's space racist.
It is. What are you going to do about it? You're going to call the space police? Yeah. The intergalactic police force will be coming round to me. Yeah. I'm quaking in my boots.
Space racist.
No, but if you're anti-human, what does that? If you're anti-human, what does that say you kind of lack?
Empathy.
Yeah.
Emotion.
Yeah.
Me, I get their after me. I'm so slow. I'm so smart.
You're so intellectual.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's that idea that if you're anti-human, you don't care. So I mean, again, think about some of the reactions we've seen to disasters around the world. I mean, think about the refugee crisis when all the people coming out of Syria. And there's that exploitation of people traffickers and all that sort of stuff. Some countries wanted to do good things. Others were just saying, no, we just turn them back. We send them back from where they came.
Isn't that like what China has done with like North Korea? They've got a deal that it's like, if we see any like North Korean like immigrants in our country, we'll send them back to North Korea.
Yeah. It's things like that. And again, it's a bit like you think about the refugee crisis, again under Trump, wasn't it, at the Mexican border? He would separate children from the parents at the border, didn't he? Did that. And again, there's something like, it was 500, at one point it was like 500 children who have not yet been reunited with their parents. You think under what sort of policy could that be, acceptable? But again, we've got ones who think, no, we've got to do that. We've got to show this make this kind of tough stance. And so, if you've got a president who's up for all these things, and again, Antichrist, well, what is that? What is Antichrist? You're a Satanist if you're Antichrist, aren't you? Again, it's that. And again, we tend to think, obviously, the Christian religion as being a kind of a morally good thing. It instills good characteristics within you and gives you that kind of moral compass. I don't think you need your hood up in here, Kimmy, to be honest. Yeah. And so we've got all of that. And so he sounds, and again, the fact that the people said that and they want to go back to 1492, it's that idea, isn't it, of, going back, because that's where they've been plunged back into. With a leader like that, it's like trying to reverse.
What's so important about 14
Well, 1492, what happened in 1492? Who sailed the ocean blue in 1492? Oh, you must know this. Christopher Columbus. And he discovers what? America.
The Vikings did it first.
They did.
No, it's not really,
But,
Pear-shaped earth.
hey,
He thought the earth is velociraptor riding turtle.
pear-shaped? I don't think so. Right. So, now, if we're thinking now, so we'll kind of discuss these other questions that I've got underneath it as well. And so the one thing, what sort of themes and ideas do you think that Ray Bradbury is beginning to introduce just in these opening two pages? What's he beginning to introduce as themes to this story? Yeah, maybe that the world is a stranger place, yes.
Doesn't get back.
Oops. Hey, what did you say, Leo?
What did you say, Leon?
Nothing.
The voices of
The screaming never stops. What do I do?
Okay, and I was sort of joking about it, but what does it say about the world that you live in when you've got this sort of time safari, and their sort of tagline is, you name the creature, we'll take you there and you shoot it. What is that?
People live to kill.
Yeah, I mean, it is.
We're still quite undeveloped.
Yeah.
It's like we've gone to like a good point in our lives and we've de-evolved.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
It's devolved.
Yeah.
De-evolved.
No, but I get his idea. I quite like what you're saying there. Yeah.
Like we went to like a point where we got all of like the future stuff that we have now, like 21st, 22nd
Yeah.
century, and then we've just gone down.
Yeah.
It's the greedy rich people.
Yeah, I mean, it is that, isn't it? Again, it's that sense of going backwards in evolution, even though you're projecting into the future. It's that sense that, have we lost something?
There's always downside to it.
Yeah. Now, the other question I want you to think about here is we clearly are in the realms of science fiction. Why do you think science fiction writers love to use? I mean, Bradbury is really good at doing this. He will use kind of the here and now, and he sees ills, he sees wrongs in society, and he projects it way into the future. Why does he use science fiction to make a comment about the world today? And what else? Yeah, you can. And again, it's that idea about, if we could project in the future and look back right now. And again, it's allowing yourself to maybe almost have that sort of unbiased point of view, isn't it? You're looking objectively from a future standpoint, and you're looking back on what is happening now, and you can comment upon it. You comment quite freely.
If you did that, like when you went back in time and you went to a pub, then wouldn't all of the dinosaurs should run out eventually?
Wouldn't all the
Dinosaurs run out?
What do you mean run out?
Like they just you'd shoot so many.
Die off.
I know, as we find here, what they do, the cleverness of this is because they're going back to quote a film, Back to the Future. What they are doing is that they are using historical records to know when certain dinosaurs were due to die historically. They're pinpointing it in time, so that they go back to that point in time saying, this dinosaur is due to die anyway. So if we kill it at the right time that it's about to die, then it will have no impact, no effect down through the future timeline.
That's why
We're not killing it that way, we're just shooting it.
it's like saying that, it's going to die in a few minutes. Might as well just end its suffering now.
Yes, it's exactly. Bit of a weird thought, though.
Yeah, but know when something's going to die, you know that it's coming up to the time.
No, but it's all tied up with this idea about the butterfly effect, that you mustn't have an impact on the future. If they kill it at the time, and it's got to be down to the second that it was due to die anyway. If they do that and they shoot it at the same time, it's fine. It's not going to have that repercussions down through the timeline. Yeah,
And if you-
that's what it's all about.
If you shot a dinosaur in the different place where it's gonna die, then
Major problems.
the corpse would just move.
No,
Right.
yeah, that it wouldn't work doing that either. You know, it's got to be specific to its time. Right. Okay. Well, after 76 hours, I feel that this lesson must come to an end.
Please let me drink something.
You may, George.
George, what have you got now?
Yes. Okay.